So, if you're looking for a used car, there are certain models that on average are in better condition than others. That's just a fact of life, whether it's the owner, whether it's the type of car, the age, the mileage, anything like that. Some cars are just inherently better than others to go for. Often, the more reliable brands are the ones that are from Japan and Korea, while those that are less reliable you might find from France and Italy. But there are variations from those countries, for example. But let's have a look at this, guys. There's an article here on the motoringchronicle.com that's going over which, on average, are the best models in terms of their overall health, their maintenance, their condition when it comes to the used car market. Exclusive analysis by UK's leading automotive servicing and repair company has revealed which cars, on average, on the UK roads are most likely to have had components replaced and potentially be in the best condition as a used car buy. Motorists considering buying used Hyundai, Citroen, or Nissan should take comfort as they are the most likely to find newer components. It's not just those that don't need repairs at all, it's also those that have newer components. That's an interesting way of measuring this. More than 2 million of the UK's car owners take their vehicles to quick fit centres each year. The company's analysts, there we go. Oh, my goodness me. Absolutely got tongue-tied there. Looked at which models were disproportionately more likely to be brought in for maintenance in every area of Great Britain. From its inaugural maintenance index, QuickFit has ranked the models by the number of locations which the drivers were most likely to have brought them in to have new components fitted. The analysts assessed replacement of a range of common components including brakes, batteries, exhaust, steering, suspension and shock absorbers, wheels and windscreens too. The QuickFit team found that this year the ranking is topped by the Hyundai i30, the Citroen Berlingo, the Citroen C1 and the Nissan Note. The i30 received more new components than the average car in 8 areas of Great Britain, while the 2 Citroen models and the Nissan Note each top the table in 7 areas. Models from Ford, Honda, Kia, Mazda, Peugeot and Vauxhall also appeared high in the ranking spots in the index as shown in the table below, which I will now read out for you guys in reverse order. So at joint 10th you've got Citroen DS3, the Honda Jazz, the Kia Picanto and the Peugeot 2008 with 4 replacement components. The Vauxhall Mokka, Peugeot 107, Mazda CX-5, and the Peugeot 107 and the Vauxhall Mokka. Getting ahead of myself there. They're both in joint 8th. In joint 5th is the Hyundai i10, one of my old cars. Absolutely love that thing. The Ford Ka, the Mazda CX-5, all on 6. And it's joint 2nd, you've got the Citroen Berlingo, the C1, the Nissan Note on 7, and the Hyundai i30 at 8. Now, there is some caveats to this. I do want to kind of give my thoughts on this data because I do find it interesting, but we'll keep reading the rest of the article. The Quick Fit Maintenance Index is available online as an interactive map. Users can select any area in Great Britain and find the top 3 car models most disproportionately receiving new components in that area. Each model is shown with an index figure for that area. An index of 1.0 represents a model having components replaced in proportion to the total number of those vehicles registered in a particular area. An index figure of 2.0 indicates the model is twice as likely to be brought into a quick fit for replacement components compared with a relative number of those vehicles in the area. That is a very long brackets there to read out, bigger than the actual paragraph. And then there's just an example there for Derbyshire where that is for a few different cars. So yeah, interesting stuff with that. I would say, I mean, there's a few different caveats to this. I'm just gonna give my kind of thoughts on it. So yes, it's good in a sense that a used car would have a replacement component, but also potentially not. Because at the same time, if a car is getting a lot of replacement parts, that means that yes, the parts that make up the car are fresher and newer and in better condition, but it would also potentially indicate that they deteriorate faster. So it's kind of a two-way street with that. I mean, it's a good thing that parts would be newer, newer brakes, newer windscreen wipers and stuff like that. That's all good. But the fact that those have been replaced indicates to me that, they have been worn through, basically. It happens more often. Now, everybody's different. Everybody's got different needs for cars. An old user of a car could have, absolutely ragged the thing around the estate all the time, and that could cause damage to it. Another person, might get someone who's like an old granny or something driving at 20 in a 30 zone, putting absolutely no stress through the car. So there's different caveats to it. Every car's different, but it's an interesting metric to measure it by. But Personally, I would always try and aim for a car that in general has had less fails on its MOT. I think that is a better indicator. All before you buy a used car, look up the registration plate. You can go online, go to the government website, put the registration plate in, and you can actually see whether it's failed in the past, how many times it's failed, if it's had many minors, and also what for. If a car's had a few failures and it's just for something minor, I don't know, like not enough windscreen wiper washer or something like that, because you can fail MOTs for that in some places apparently for it, then yeah, go and have a look and see what the overall health of the car is like, the history of it's like. That's probably more important. But yeah, interesting, guys. I want to hear your thoughts on it as well. Do you think that's a good metric that are using to measure how reliable a car is, how safe it is? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, keep it subscribed to themotoringchronicle.com to see much more content on the world of motoring just like this. See you soon, guys. Have a good one.